As the church bells tolled in the crisp autumn air of suburban Chicago, Nate stood at the altar, his heart pounding not from nerves about his twin brother's wedding, but from the stolen glance he shared with Ryan, the best man. In that moment, Nate realized the secret he'd buried for years was about to unravel his entire world. Little did he know, confessing his love would shatter family bonds and force him into exile, all because he dared to love the wrong person. Nate and his twin brother, Ethan, had always been inseparable, two halves of the same coin growing up in a tight-knit, conservative family in the Midwest. Their parents, devout Catholics who ran a small hardware store, prided themselves on raising good boys who followed the rules, church on Sundays, football in high school, and straight paths to respectable lives. Ethan embodied that ideal. Captain of the team, valedictorian, now a rising lawyer marrying his college sweetheart, Sarah. Nate, though identical in looks, tall, broad-shouldered with sandy hair and green eyes, had always felt like the shadow, the one who questioned everything quietly. The wedding weekend started innocently enough. Guests flooded into the family home, a sprawling ranch-style house on the outskirts of the city, buzzing with excitement. Ryan, Ethan's best friend since law school, arrived early to help with preparations. Ryan was everything Nate admired. Confident, witty, with a disarming smile and a passion for social justice that clashed with the family's traditional views. They'd met a few times before, but this time, proximity ignited something undeniable. During the rehearsal dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant downtown, Nate found himself seated next to Ryan. As toasts flowed and laughter echoed, their conversation deepened. "You know, Ethan always talks about you like you're the smarter twin," Ryan said, his eyes locking onto Nate's. "But I think he undersells how insightful you are." Nate felt a flush creep up his neck. He'd come out to himself years ago, but never to his family, fearing the fallout in their judgmental circle. Ryan, openly gay and unapologetic, seemed to sense it. By the end of the night, as they lingered in the parking lot, Ryan's hand brushed Nate's, sending sparks through him. The next morning, chaos ensued with last-minute decorations. Nate volunteered to help Ryan set up the reception hall, a grand ballroom in a historic hotel. As they strung lights and arranged tables, their banter turned flirtatious. "You're pretty good at this," Ryan teased, handing Nate a bouquet. "Ever think about planning your own wedding?" Nate hesitated, then whispered, "Only if it's with someone who gets me." Ryan's expression softened, and in a quiet corner, he leaned in. "I think I do." Their first kiss was tentative, hidden behind a stack of chairs, but it felt like coming home. Guilt hit Nate immediately. This was Ethan's day, and Ryan was his best man. But the pull was magnetic. Throughout the ceremony, Nate stood as an usher, his eyes drifting to Ryan more than the bride and groom. When Ethan and Sarah exchanged vows, promising eternal love in front of God and family, Nate's mind raced with hypotheticals. What if he could have that? What if his family accepted him? Post-ceremony, at the reception, the tension built. Nate and Ryan stole moments on the dance floor, disguised as friendly spins. But Ethan noticed. Pulling Nate aside during a break, he frowned. "What's going on with you and Ryan? You two seem close." Nate's heart sank. He deflected, but the seed was planted. As the night wore on, fueled by champagne, Nate confessed to Ryan in the garden outside. "I've never felt this way, but my family, they'd never understand." Ryan pulled him close. "Then let's figure it out together." The bombshell dropped the next day at the family brunch. Hungover and emotional, Nate decided to come out. Gathered around the kitchen table with pancakes stacking high, he cleared his throat. "Mom, Dad, Ethan, I'm gay, and I'm in love with Ryan." Silence blanketed the room. His mother's fork clattered to the plate. His father's face reddened. Ethan stared, betrayal etching his features. "On my wedding weekend? With my best friend." The argument erupted. Accusations flew. Nate was selfish, ruining the joy, disrespecting their values. His mother wept, quoting Bible verses about sin. His father demanded he leave, calling it a phase or worse, a choice to hurt them. Ryan stood by Nate, defending him, but it only fueled the fire. Ethan, feeling betrayed on multiple fronts, sided with the parents. You couldn't wait? Or find someone else? By evening, Nate was packing his bags, Ryan offering to drive him to a hotel. The family's ultimatum: repent or be cut off. As they drove away, Nate glanced back at the house that no longer felt like home, tears streaming. This was just the beginning of his exile. Word spread quickly through their social circle. Friends from church whispered about the scandal, some unfriending Nate on social media, others sending messages of praying for his soul. At work, as a graphic designer in a mid-sized firm, Nate faced subtle shifts. Colleagues who knew his family avoided him, projects reassigned without explanation. Ryan, a public defender in the city, became his anchor, inviting Nate to crash at his apartment in Wrigleyville. Their relationship blossomed amid the chaos. Late-night talks on Ryan's balcony, overlooking the bustling streets, revealed shared dreams. Nate's desire to travel, Ryan's fight for LGBTQ rights. But conflicts arose. Ryan pushed for activism, attending pride events, joining support groups, while Nate, still raw from rejection, hesitated. "I'm not ready to be a poster boy," he'd say. Ryan understood but worried Nate was internalizing the shame. Back home, Ethan grappled with guilt. Sarah, more progressive, urged him to reach out. "He's your brother, Ethan. Love shouldn't have conditions." But Ethan's pride held firm. He rationalized. Nate had timed it poorly, stolen the spotlight. Deep down, jealousy simmered. Ryan had been his confidant, now seemingly choosing Nate. A month later, the first major clash hit. Nate's parents froze his access to the family trust fund, small but helpful for his student loans. Desperate, Nate called home, only to be met with conditions. Therapy to fix him, distance from Ryan. He refused, hanging up in anger. Ryan comforted him, but Nate's resentment grew. "Why can't they see I'm still me?" That night, they argued. Ryan accused Nate of not fighting back enough. Nate snapped that Ryan didn't understand family loyalty. Social pressures mounted. At a mutual friend's party, Nate overheard snide remarks. Ethan's twin went rogue, hooked up with the best man. Humiliated, he left early, questioning if pursuing Ryan was worth the isolation. Ryan followed, reassuring him. "We're building something real. Don't let them win." As winter set in, Nate sought therapy on his own, unpacking years of suppression. Sessions revealed how he'd mimicked Ethan to fit in, denying his identity. Ryan supported him, but their differences surfaced. Ryan's outspoken nature clashed with Nate's caution. A dinner with Ryan's friends turned awkward when Nate dodged questions about his family. The turning point came at Christmas. Invited to Ryan's family gathering in the suburbs, Nate experienced acceptance for the first time. Ryan's parents, liberal academics, welcomed him warmly, sharing stories of their own coming-out journeys. It contrasted sharply with his own family's silence. No card, no call. Emboldened, Nate messaged Ethan, "Miss you, bro. Can we talk?" Ethan's reply was curt, "Not yet." The new year brought tentative hope. Nate landed a freelance gig designing logos for a queer-owned business, boosting his confidence. Ryan, busy with a high-profile case defending a transgender teen, inspired Nate to volunteer at a local LGBTQ center. There, he met others with similar stories, disowned for love, rebuilding from scratch. It fueled his growth, but also highlighted the rift. Ethan, meanwhile, faced his own turmoil. Sarah announced her pregnancy, a joy overshadowed by the family divide. At prenatal checkups, she pressed Ethan, "What if our child is gay? Will you cast them out too?" Ethan deflected, but doubts crept in. He confided in a colleague who shared resources on allyship. Secretly, he read books on LGBTQ issues, questioning his upbringing. A chance encounter reignited the drama. At a coffee shop near the courthouse, Ethan bumped into Ryan. Tension crackled. "How's Nate?" Ethan asked stiffly. Ryan, ever direct, replied, "Hurting, but strong. You should call him." Ethan nodded, but pride held him back. Later, he told Sarah, who encouraged reconciliation. Nate and Ryan's relationship deepened, marked by small milestones. Cooking dinners together, weekend getaways to Lake Michigan. But external pressures persisted. Nate's old church friends organized an intervention, showing up at his apartment unannounced. They preached forgiveness if he repented, labeling Ryan a temptation. Nate, furious, slammed the door, but the encounter shook him. That night, he broke down to Ryan. "What if I'm wrong? What if this costs me everything forever?" Ryan held him. "Love isn't wrong. Their hate is." It strengthened their bond, but Nate began job hunting elsewhere, considering a move to a more accepting city like San Francisco. Ryan, tied to his job, worried about long distance but supported the idea. The family's annual spring barbecue loomed, a tradition Nate had always cherished. This year, he wasn't invited. Hurt, he crashed it anyway, arriving with Ryan. Chaos ensued. His father shouted, "You're not welcome here." His mother cried, begging him to choose family over sin. Ethan intervened, pulling Nate aside. "Why now? You're making it worse." Nate retorted, "I'm here because I am family. Accept me or not." The confrontation escalated. Neighbors watched as arguments spilled onto the lawn. Accusations of brainwashing, counterclaims of bigotry. Ryan defended Nate vehemently, calling out the hypocrisy in a family that preached love but practiced exclusion. Ethan, torn, asked them to leave to avoid police involvement. As they drove off, Nate vowed never to return. In the aftermath, Ethan reached a breaking point. Sarah's ultimatum, "Fix this or I'm done enabling it." He called Nate, voice trembling. "I miss you. Let's meet. Just us." They agreed to lunch at a neutral diner. Over burgers, tears flowed. Ethan admitted his fear. "I thought if I accepted you, I'd lose Mom and Dad." Nate shared his pain. "You already lost me by not standing up." It was raw, honest, no resolution, but a crack in the wall. Social media amplified the divide. A cousin posted a veiled rant about family values, tagging Ethan in support. Nate responded publicly, outing the hypocrisy and gaining unexpected allies. Distant relatives, old classmates. It went viral in their small circle, pressuring the parents. His mother called, sobbing, "We're losing everyone because of you." Nate replied calmly, "No, because of your choices." Ryan and Nate navigated the fallout together. A romantic evening turned serious when Ryan proposed moving in officially. Nate hesitated, fearing commitment amid instability. "What if my family never comes around?" Ryan assured him, "Then we build our own." As summer approached, Nate's career took off with a contract for a national campaign promoting diversity. It symbolized his rebirth, but irony struck. The campaign featured twin models, reminding him of Ethan. He invited Ethan to the launch party, a olive branch. The launch party, held at a trendy gallery in downtown Chicago, buzzed with creatives and activists. Nate mingled, proud of his work, but nerves jangled waiting for Ethan. When his twin arrived alone, the resemblance drew stares. They embraced awkwardly, the first physical contact in months. "This is impressive," Ethan said, surveying the displays. Nate introduced him to colleagues, watching Ethan's reactions to the diverse crowd. Over drinks, they delved deeper. Ethan confessed, "Sarah's pregnancy made me think. What kind of dad do I want to be? One who loves conditionally." Nate nodded, sharing therapy insights. "I hid for so long because I feared this exact rejection." Ethan apologized for his role, admitting jealousy over Ryan. "He was my friend first. Felt like you took him." Nate laughed ruefully. "Love doesn't work that way." The evening ended positively, with Ethan promising to talk to their parents. But reality hit hard the next day. Their father, hearing of the meeting, exploded in a family group chat. "Traitor! You're enabling sin." Ethan defended Nate, leading to a heated call. For the first time, Ethan stood firm. "He's my brother. If you can't accept him, you lose us both." Sarah backed him, threatening to skip family events. The parents, isolated, began to waver. His mother attended a PFLAG meeting secretly, learning from other parents. She reached out to Nate via email, I don't understand, but I want to try. It was tentative but progress. Meanwhile, Nate and Ryan faced their own hurdles. Ryan's case went to trial, stressful and all-consuming. Nate supported him but felt sidelined. One night, exhausted, Ryan snapped, "You're always focused on your family drama. What about us?" Nate countered, "It's part of me. You knew that." They reconciled, but it highlighted the need for balance. A major conflict arose when Nate was invited to speak at a local TEDx event on identity and family. He poured his heart into the talk, recounting the wedding fallout without naming names. It resonated, but when it hit YouTube, family friends recognized the story. Backlash ensued. Anonymous hate mail, a petition at church to pray away the gay. Nate's firm stood by him, but he questioned the cost. Ryan, proud, encouraged him, "You're changing minds." Indeed, Ethan watched the talk, moved to tears. He confronted their parents. "Watch this. See the pain you caused." They did, reluctantly. His father remained stubborn, but his mother softened, calling Nate for a tearful conversation. "I'm sorry. I was scared." Reconciliation seemed possible, but society's broader issues intruded. A local bill restricting LGBTQ rights gained traction, sponsored by a family friend. Ryan rallied against it, dragging Nate into protests. At one rally, they encountered counter-protesters chanting slurs. Nate froze, flashbacks to his exile. Ryan shielded him, but the experience traumatized Nate, making him withdraw. Their relationship strained under the weight. Nate suggested therapy together. Ryan agreed. Sessions revealed Nate's abandonment fears, Ryan's savior complex. They worked through it, emerging stronger. As fall returned, anniversary of the wedding, Ethan hosted a small gathering. Just him, Sarah, Nate, and Ryan. Neutral ground at a park. Tensions lingered, but laughter broke through over shared memories. Sarah's baby bump prompted talks of the future. Ethan pulled Nate aside. "I'm naming the baby after you. If it's a boy." Nate teared up, but not all was resolved. Their parents refused to join, clinging to old beliefs. Nate accepted it, focusing on his chosen family. With the baby's due date nearing, Ethan bridged gaps further. He invited Nate and Ryan to the baby shower, defying parental objections. At the event, held in a community center, Nate felt out of place among traditional guests. Whispers followed him, but Ethan shut them down. "My brother's welcome here." End of story. Ryan charmed the crowd with stories of his work, humanizing their relationship. A pivotal moment came when an elderly aunt approached Nate. "I've been wrong. Love is love." Chipped away at the isolation. Post-shower, Nate and Ryan discussed their future. "Let's get engaged," Ryan suggested impulsively during a walk. Nate, surprised, said yes. They kept it quiet, planning a simple ceremony. But news leaked via social media, reigniting family drama. His father sent a scathing letter. "Don't expect blessings." His mother, conflicted, visited alone. Over coffee, she admitted, "I pray for understanding every day." The engagement amplified societal scrutiny. Nate's TEDx talk gained national attention, leading to interviews. He became an reluctant advocate, facing trolls online, threats, doxing. Ryan's firm provided security, but fear crept in. "Is this worth it?" Nate asked. Ryan replied, "For us? Yes." Ethan's child arrived, a boy, named Natander Jr. at the hospital. Nate held his nephew, emotions overwhelming. Ethan whispered, "Your family always." Their parents arrived later, stiff but present. His mother cooed over the baby, glancing at Nate with softened eyes. His father nodded curtly. The christening became a flashpoint. The parents insisted on a traditional Catholic ceremony, excluding Ryan from photos. Nate refused to attend without him. Ethan mediated, everyone or no one. The parents relented, grudgingly including Ryan. During the service, as the priest spoke of love and forgiveness, Nate felt a glimmer of hope. But controversy struck when a local newspaper ran a story on Nate's journey, tying it to the family. It painted the parents as villains, sparking debate in the community. Church members split. Some left in protest, others supported inclusion. The parents faced ostracism mirroring Nate's experience. His father, humiliated, lashed out in a family meeting. "You destroyed our reputation." Nate countered, "No, your intolerance did." The argument peaked with his father storming out. His mother stayed, hugging Nate for the first time since the wedding. "I love you. Give him time." Nate and Ryan's wedding planning progressed quietly. They chose a civil ceremony in a botanical garden, inviting only supporters. Ethan served as best man, a poetic reversal. Sarah officiated, her progressive views shining. As vows approached, doubts resurfaced. Nate worried about permanence amid ongoing family strife. Ryan reassured, "We're in this together." The ceremony was intimate, tears and cheers mingling. Ethan's toast, "To love that conquers all." Post-wedding, life normalized somewhat. Nate's career flourished. Ryan's case won, advancing rights. But the parents remained distant. Occasional calls from his mother, silence from his father. A year later, at the baby's first birthday, a breakthrough. His father showed up unannounced, bearing a gift. Awkward apologies followed. "I was wrong. Fear blinded me." Nate forgave cautiously. The family photo included everyone: twins, spouses, baby. Yet not all wounds healed. Societal debates raged on, with new laws threatening progress. Nate and Ryan continued advocating, their story inspiring others. Years passed, the scars fading but never vanishing. Nate and Ryan built a life in Chicago, adopting a rescue dog and mentoring queer youth. Ethan's family grew, with little Nate Jr. calling his uncle favorite. Holidays alternated, blending traditions. But reflections brought mixed emotions. Nate often wondered about alternate paths, staying closeted, avoiding the pain. Ryan reminded him, authenticity is worth it. Their bond, forged in fire, proved resilient. The parents aged, his mother fully accepting, his father tolerant if gruff. At a family reunion, old arguments resurfaced over politics, but love prevailed. Nate's story spread wider through a memoir, sparking national conversations on family, faith, and identity. Debates ensued. Was coming out at a wedding selfish? Did society force the exile? In the end, Nate found peace in his choices, the exile a catalyst for growth. Was the family's initial rejection justified, true or false?